Hello everyone, and welcome back for another video here on my YouTube channel. This is Cassie. Today we're going to be working with some Simon Hurley Create products. Today I have the new set called Welcome Home, and we're going to be using a couple of images in there along with some stark white cardstock and then some various ink colors by Simon Hurley Create, because what we're going to be doing is a little bit of ink smooshing. So I have a couple of panels. They're each cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and then I have a small piece of acetate so that we can do that ink smushing. So let's get started with it. I'm going to pull out some Game Over ink, squish that onto my acetate, spray a little bit of water, and then smush that right onto our paper. Now the reason I'm using the acetate is because it will definitely give me a little bit more control. The neat thing about these inks, well, one of the many neat things about these inks, is that they layer on top of each other really nicely. You can get a lot of great texture. So I am continuing to add, as it dries, I am adding some more color to that acetate, a little bit more water, and then smushing that right on top, and you'll see all that depth I'm getting. Because this ink is one of those inks that will layer on top of each other really, really nicely. It is water reactive still, but it just layers beautifully. So we're going to stamp our image from that Welcome Home stamp set, which is super cool, right onto our panel. I'm using some Blackout ink. This is a copic friendly ink. So I'll stamp that right down on top of there a couple different times, and then I'm going to bring in my copics. Now copics work great with these inks. They don't smear the ink. They're copic friendly. So you could actually stamp out your image using any one of your ink colors, one of your Simon Hurley Create ink colors, and you could copic color and not worry about the color bleeding, which is awesome. This is why this is such a great technique for copics, because you can, like I said, color right on top of it, and it's not going to change the color underneath, and it's not going to mess with your markers. That color is staying put with those copics. And because copics are a transparent medium, they're going to pick up the color from underneath. And when I say pick up, I mean the color underneath is going to show through your copic coloring. So I'm using that orange in certain areas, and it's going to pick up, like the red from underneath is going to show through. Like it turns this yellow, not turns it, but it looks like an orange. So you could play around with all different types of colors. In fact, I did play around with squishing some yellow onto a panel, and then I colored over the top of it with some green or some blue copics, and it made it look green. So it doesn't taint your colors. What you see underneath that Simon Hurley Create ink is there. It's not going anywhere. And what you're seeing is just that color laying on top, which is so awesome. So I highly recommend you giving this a try with different mediums that you might have. See what you can come up with. It could be so much fun. I had a blast making these. So now I'm going to stamp out my sentiment, and that sentiment is just one of the sentiments from that Welcome Home set. And I did stamp it with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. It's just a nice crisp black ink. And then I am going to trim this panel down about 1/4 inch on that one side. I pulled out a blue piece of cardstock that I had from my stash. This is 5 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches, and I'm scoring it at 4 1/4, so it will be a side folding A2 size card. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to that panel. I do smudge that VersaFine Clair ink, so I will pull out my sand eraser, but I'm telling you, this technique is so much fun. I will show you again. So we're going to do it again just so that you can kind of see it. But this time I'm using an even lighter ink. This is the Breakup blue. It's the newer ink color that Simon has added to his line, and it is a beautiful light blue. And yeah, this background is going to be pretty light, but you'll notice in those darker areas, once it's dry, that's the color you're going to get. I could keep adding color to that, and I could maybe deepen it a little bit more. But I love how these inks layer on top of each other and even on top of themselves. So I'll continue to keep going, trying to deepen that color a little bit, add some specks of that blue in other areas, just so that I can really get some good texture going. And I do love that little line of that blue there. It just looks so cool. We'll do it one more time, and then I'm going to heat or dry that with my heat tool. So that way what's there is there. Now these inks are water reactive, so if you did happen to try to use some sort of water over the top of it, it will change underneath, but so far what you see is what you get. So we'll heat set that, and then I'm going to once again put this into my mini MISTI, and we'll pull out another image from Welcome Home. We're going to pull out the couch, but check that out. Isn't that so cool? So much great texture. So we'll pull out the couch from Welcome Home. And then I'm going to put that sentiment. I moved it, but I am going to bring it back in because I just think it's such a great sentiment. So we'll bring it back in, and I'll stamp the couch using my Blackout ink, which I should have just done with my the lower one. I use the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink just because it's so crisp and black. But I do end up smudging it again. So here we are bringing in a blue, and it's from the naked eye here on camera. You can't really see too much of a difference, but it definitely, that light blue shows through in certain areas. So using that, like I said, transparent medium, it's really cool. This is such a great, I'm going to have to do this some more. I love doing this. And then I'll bring in a darker copic color just to add a little bit of depth to my image, adding a little bit of shadowing and shading where I think it might look good on our couch. And then, but you could try this with other colors as well, different copic colors over that blue. It might have been really fun to use a yellow. It would have made it like a green. At least what you would have seen would have been green. And then for our legs, we'll just bring in a couple more colors, some brown. And it's super simple. You could add more to this, but I just think this is nice. This could be a great guy's card. Like, hey, congrats on your new home. And then I grabbed a green base. No real rhyme or reason other than it was there, and I thought this teal and that green would look nice together. And then that's it. I didn't embellish it. We just left it as is because I really wanted those backgrounds to be the stars of the show. So there you have it. An ink smooshing with those Simon Hurley Create inks. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.